alive and strong. Empowering entrepreneurs where you belong. Grow your brand, lead the way. On Fired Up Fridays, we light up the day. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lori, we ignite. Online presence, stand up tall. Organic marketing, we cover it all. Engage communities, connection deep. We're Fired Up Fridays, success you'll reap. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lori, we ignite. Online presence, stand up tall. Organic marketing, we cover it all. Engage communities, connection deep. With Fired Up Fridays, success you'll reap. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat. Earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lori, we ignite. Fired Up Fridays, feel the heat, earn your worth, no retreat. Build your tribe, make it right. With Chris and Lori, we ignite.
Yes. Welcome everybody
Hey,
to Fired Up Fridays with Chris and Lori.
yes.
I can't help but laugh every time.
I love this. And that song just makes it so
Yeah.
much better.
Thanks, Raph. Raph goes, Chris, this is some great intro music. Yes. Thanks, Raph. I appreciate you checking in.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, when Lori and I started doing this, it's now like what, this fourth of these? Four? Is
Yeah.
this number 4?
Yeah.
We were like,
think-
we did the first one, and then I think by the second one, we were like, we gotta have a theme song. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying it. The Chris and Lori theme song about organic marketing and building communities.
Yeah.
Fired
Who
Up
knew you can
Fridays.
make it so
I know.
fun.
Well, hey everybody, good morning. If you're here in the group watching, welcome. If you're not in the group watching, well, welcome. And if you'd like to be in the group, just click the link and we'll get you into the group. But I am Chris. I am one of the co-hosts of the Creative Marketing Corner, and I am joined by my awesome colleague, woohoo, Lori Kane. How are you, Lori? Good morning.
Doing fantastic. This is a great week. Like we
Yeah.
talked last week about how we were like dialing in and really like going for this sprint, and there was just a lot of clarifying moments for me as I really focused on like, okay, what are the needle moving activities I need to do? And I
Right.
realized I was doing a lot of like busy work.
Mhm.
So this week was all about getting stuff done that's going to be long lasting. And I actually have planned on like, okay, I'm going to be doing some things that, in January is going to have an impact, but I actually started to see results like right away. And so it's been really cool. It's been very cool. How about you? What happened for you this week?
Yeah, you've had a good week because you and I talked
Yes.
a lot behind the scenes. You
Yes.
went to a rock concert and
I did.
you went to a good concert too. Yeah. So yeah, you're living it up this week, which is great. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, this week has been good. I've been obviously we had the holiday on a Monday here in the US. So, it's like you feel like it's a short week, even though it's not, but it is because it's like kind of wasn't working full time on Monday, for sure. Took the day to relax, but it's been
let me point out too, like that's something I know that entrepreneurs struggle with.
I've been in business for myself for over 25 years and I still struggle with it. I don't think I'll ever get over just being able to be like, take a day off.
Right? But it is needed. It's,
It's so needed.
Yeah.
It's so needed. It's
if
so
you're
needed.
feeling burnt out, don't keep trying to
Yeah.
try and force it.
No.
You're not going to do great work. And
No.
yeah.
Do not force it. Don't force it. Oh, what I was going to say was, obviously, too, if anybody has any questions as we go today, drop them in the chat for sure. And if you want to join the Creative Marketing Corner Facebook group, let us know and we will DM you the link so that way you can get in if you're watching this and you're not in our actual group, which focuses mostly on organic marketing, growing your community, networking, building relationships, and just teaching you guys and talking about the tactics and strategies on how to stand out and how to become more memorable within your own networks, how to build your brand, how to make your business more memorable and stand out. And this week has been great. I mean, I love what we did this week inside of the group. And last week we were on here and we were talking about the challenge that we put into the group. And the challenge, just to reiterate, to remind everybody what the challenge was that the challenge was to, over the next 2 weeks, to reconnect and reach out to at least 20 people that you haven't talked to in 3 months or more. And the reason for this was so that you can re-engage and have those conversations and create opportunities for yourself, for your business, for your brand, for everything, starting now, which will eventually, honestly, that kind of activity is more long-term, and that's to pay off more towards the end of the year and into Q1. And we were talking about leading with intention here and being intentional, and that the ask, when you reach out to people, it's them first. You're asking them. You're serving first. You're asking them when you reach out, how can I help you? Is there anybody you're looking to meet? Is there anything you're working on in particular? How can I help you reach your goals first, and then be ready to answer the question back, because hopefully they'll reciprocate and they'll say, great, thank you so much for your help. How can I help you? And you being ready to answer that question with focus. Because
and that's how the law of reciprocity works.
Right.
Like,
if you're unfocused,
what you put out, it will come back. And so, yeah, and
your answer can't be anyone, right? You've heard this, you can't be anyone. Like, be laser focused. Right. No. You got to be laser focused. If you want people to help you, you got to help them. Like, take as much of the heavy lifting out of it as possible to be able to get the desired results that you want. And so that was last week. And I'd love to know, because if anybody's doing the challenge, which I hope you guys are doing this challenge, let us know. Lori and I want to know how it's going. If you need help, if you're stuck with any of it, let us know, because we are here to support you. That's what this group is for. But building off the challenge, we decided to continue on and help you, once again, because we want to help you. Yesterday, I dropped a video in the group about how to, because I know this is sort of like, it's a mystery for some people, and I don't blame you, because it's not easy. I mean, the steps are easy. The steps are not hard, but it's not in a very intuitive way. So yesterday in the group, I posted a video on how to download all your LinkedIn connections, right? How to do it. And I'm going to throw it to Lori, because Lori is going to explain why this is an important part of the process when we're talking about how we're going to reach out with people and who we're going to reach out to and all that. So Lori, I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
I you know that I am I'm bullish on LinkedIn. If you're doing business, you need to be on LinkedIn. And I love all social channels in order to be able to reach people, but LinkedIn included, these platforms are borrowed audiences. You are there and you're talking to them and you're having conversations, but like, let's not don't have a panic attack, but like, what if you woke up today and your main social channel was deleted? Right. Like, either you were locked out of your account, or, I mean, I know when Instagram goes down for like an hour or two, people are like, oh my gosh, but like, what if it never came back? Kind of, and so I don't want to I don't want to try to panic, but you need to have that kind of oh my gosh, I need to be able to figure out how to still stay in contact with everybody that I'm talking to. And so I love the fact that LinkedIn allows you to download all of your contacts. Now, it's not followers, but it's those first degree connections. But doing that, even though you're not maybe able to, it used to be able to give you all their emails, and then there was some
Used to be
privacy
back in the
things.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you don't necessarily get their emails unless they opt in to allow their email to be shared, but you still get names, you still get companies, you still get that database, and you want to get that and put it into a spreadsheet so that way then it is off the LinkedIn platform. And if something happened, you are still able to have a list of all the people that you can be reaching out to. And sometimes people aren't as active on LinkedIn as other channels.
Yeah.
And so you are able to take their name, you have their picture, and you might be able to go find them on other channels that they're active. And so that's just like Chris and I are huge on building that email list, just getting people off of these borrowed platforms and into a space where you have their full attention. And that's where email marketing is not dead.
No.
Email lists are still really important.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we highly encourage you, those in the group, check it out. If you want to hop into the group, I think we can put it even on our, I think we're going to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but yeah, look for downloading that LinkedIn list so you can keep in contact with people.
Right. And I'll show you real quick because I did share this in the video, but I'll just show you what the list actually looks like. So what I did was after I downloaded the list, I put it into Google Sheets so that way I can go in and do all kinds of stuff. But I mean, even when you download the list, it pretty much looks like that. But this is what it gives you is you get everybody's name, you get their LinkedIn URL, where their current company is at or wherever they've listed as your company, and then what their title is, and also when you connected with them, which is also very helpful because you can, and what's great in this spreadsheet format is you could sort by anything. And what I've done in this and what I showed in the video that I made yesterday in the group was I sorted by title, because say you want to be very specific. So for any of the the creators, the marketers in here, and you want to connect with other marketers or marketing directors or chief marketing officers that you're connected to, you can sort now by like marketing, and then you could go right down and you could pull out all the marketing people or whatever else. If you want to connect with CEOs and founders, like here's a bunch of CEOs and founders I'm connected to. Say I want to reach out to each of them, I could do that now because I have a list, and through this list, I can make a little CRM. I can keep notes here, like when did I reach out to them? What did I do? Did I call? Did I email? And I could begin to set follow-ups and tasks and keep track of the activity that I'm doing. I mean, and it's great too that you know when the dates are. So say I want to connect with everybody that I connected with in 2024. Well, now I could sort by everybody I connected to in the year 2024 here or beyond, 2023, 2022, like whatever. And I could go back and reach out to all those people I connected with and send them the message, which is what we were going to talk about here today. Because Lori has got, Lori to me is so great at communications and writing messages. When Lori and I work together, we're always like writing drafts and sharing them back and forth. And Lori's got a great way of phrasing things a lot of times. So one of the second part is what we were talking about is, okay, now when you're reaching out to people, what are you going to say? How are you going to say it? What's the right language? So Lori, what's the right language? Well, what should people be saying when they're doing the reach outs?
Hey girl, hey. No.
Hey girl, it's been forever. What's up?
Right.
I mean, if you're tight with somebody, I mean, if you're really tight with that person relationship wise, all right. I mean, you kind of know how to communicate, but if you haven't talked to somebody
like that's a text.
Yeah, that's a text. But I mean, if you haven't connected with somebody in a while, I mean, if you're on a professional relationship, it might be a different way you want to connect, and you don't want to use the standard boring like, hi, how are you, how are things going?
Because that's very open-ended, and then you can find yourself in a chat that just is never ending. And to that point, I want to say, like, first of all, that list, Chris, and how you show how to organize it, we aren't here to spend hours upon hours like on platforms and like we have to get in, be efficient and effective, and get out. And I know that there's a lot of AI out there that does this. I love to show people how to be really efficient and effective without the AI component just yet. One, because it's kind of a learning curve. Also, people don't know when you're writing like the AI, there's an emotional element that's missing. So That said, you want to be able to be quick, you want to be able to be efficient and effective. And I was struggling not long ago with like, oh my gosh, like I am messaging a whole bunch of people and now I'm in like a whole bunch of chit chat conversations that I don't have time for. But I don't also want to just be like, hey, here's my services and like, can you use them? Like that's we call that the pitch slap. And we hate those messages ourselves. It's like,
The pitch
especially
slap.
like when you get those those connections and they're like, you're like, okay, you wait for it. And they're like, hey, we're a service agency and we do marketing and this is all the things we can do for you. Can we hop on a chat? Here's my Calendly. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So one thing that I've learned is that again, we're coming from a place of service. We do want to find out how they are. And there's two different groups, ones that you haven't talked to for a long time. And so it is like, hey, I'm always like, hey, it's been a hot minute. I dropped the ball. I apologize.
Right.
And so that's where also look at your list and remove your ego. If you haven't talked to somebody in a long time, you've got to remove the ego and just be like, yeah, I dropped the ball. That's my bad. And, you were a part of my life and I enjoyed having those conversations. And I do want to check in. I want to hear what you're up to. I am doing some cool stuff for my company. You don't have to pitch the service.
Right.
But then I love using this method that's like the either or this or that, where they're able to continually choose, like you're giving them different choices to answer and really, really easy. For instance, I'm saying, hey, my marketing has pivoted more towards the startup, the founder world. And I know that you were thinking about that, or last time we talked you were running your own company. Is that something, are you still running your own company or did you hop into the corporate world? Like really very easy answers for them. Again, just making it very simple to have a conversation. And then you can say, if a creativepreneur, you're like, they say, oh, I'm an, in the corporate world, or I'm still running my own company. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So like, are you working with a team then, or are you doing marketing on your own? If you're talking to a CEO, do you have somebody who's working on your marketing, or is that something that you're like stressed out about every single day, trying to figure out how to run the company and do your own marketing? And it's just like very simple,
Right.
easy ways to find out more about them. And you again are curious, you are asking them questions, they are feeling like they're being seen and heard. And you just go through this format of asking very easy to answer kind of questions, but it keeps it within a framework so you don't end up talking about like the dog.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're like, I have no idea, like, because sometimes you get into a rabbit hole where you're talking about kids and life and family, and that's great, but then you also get to that point where you're like, how do I transition
Yeah,
this?
now I'm like
And then the
stuck in a loop. Yeah.
like you also feel like you were talking to them and you were only asking them about how they are doing simply because you wanted to sell. And so that's where you do this framework, you keep it, if you do have a personal kind of relationship with them, you can be like, how's the family? What did you guys do over the summertime? Was it hard to balance summer and your company? How did that go? So you can always keep it kind of in the professional lane. And
Right.
you kind of have this either or this or that, you would like to call it this or that framework, so that way then it's not off the rails and you're having if we're talking to 20 people, that's a challenge. You're not talking to 20 people about their family life and you're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
I know. Yeah, you just feel like you're stuck in a loop, and it's like, oh, I built this house of cards, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Raph in the chat, Raphael is saying, oof, the automatic Calendly link without any conversation first, not a fan. And he goes, and just Calendly in general.
I do kind of say it's okay to send the Calendly, and you can even say, you know what, like we can go back and forth and try and figure out what time works best. Or hey, you know what, like nobody likes a Calendly link, but this is the best way for us to schedule the time that works best. If there's not an opening for you, then let me know, and I'd love to rearrange my schedule because this conversation is important to me. but definitely not in the first couple of,
No.
of messages. Please
Hi, feel free to set up a meeting with me on my account. Like, wait, who the hell are you?
Why do I want to
why,
talk
why,
to
why are you making me click links immediately? He goes, no, no, no. Just like drugs, just say no to Calendly.
Well, I would say,
uh,
and if he wants to, like, because again, this is collaborative. Like we'd love to hear more about how you guys are able to get that conversation. For me, actually, again, I go through the this or that to kind of qualify as to whether or not I even want to get on a call with them, simply because if they're not in a
right.
place to do business together, then that's a waste of time for both of us. And so having that conversation of, for me, it's like, hey, you're running your own business. Are you wanting to bootstrap, or are you eyeing, a capital raise? It
Right.
really doesn't matter which one they answer. I can help them with both. And then it's, if they say, hey, I'm bootstrapping, you're like, oh, that's fantastic. Like, what are your goals and where are you in reaching them this year?
Yeah.
Really, really kind of easy to respond to that. And then it's, and then it's like, well, what hasn't been working
Mm-hmm.
for you to be able to be on track to hit those goals? And so you just have a really easy conversation where they're telling you where they are, where they want to be, and what's stopping them from getting there. So then you can quickly qualify whether or not they're in a place where you can serve them.
Right, exactly. And I think that's really a great way of putting it. And by the way, we did talk about it. So what we'll do, guys, is for all the members in the group here in the Creative Marketing Corner. So it's, again, if you want to join, it's 100% free. Some of these in some other places not inside the group, the link is out there. But if you're like watching this and you're outside the group, just DM either of us and we'll get you the link to get in, because it's completely free. And Lori and I are active, as well as the community in there as well. And we're posting videos and talking about this. So ideally what we're going to be doing is we're going to put a template in there that you guys can use to meet these outreaches, to get out there and use this. So that way, gives you a starting point to put it in your own words and all that. But we'll put the template in the group of what Lori is talking about here and some of the other things. Cause I agree with that. I mean, listen, we always want to lead from a place of serving and how can we help, but we do want to qualify a little bit, like, well, what kind of help can you get? Because it's always about, make it about them, be very focused on them. And it's karma, do good by others and good will come to you. And that's pretty much it. If you always come from a place of making it about them and helping them,
Yes.
in turn,
Yes.
in kind, it should then come back to you. So whether they're asking you, well, how can I help you? Who are you looking to meet? What project are you working on? Or, giving you a referral, whatever that is. But that's the thing, is it's never about you first. It's about them first. And then you are second. But by doing these actions, you're helping yourself. Like at the end of the day,
absolutely.
You're helping yourself. And I know for some folks that are like if your only job is to be, hey, I am in business development, I am in sales. My job is to get sales into the company. That's what I do. I will tell you that this method is not the quick hit. But this is something that you should be doing in conjunction with if you're out there banging the phones and making the calls and you're like on a volume, and I'm going to make, my goal is to make 50 calls every single day or whatever it is, because, I need a percentage up. Okay. But once again, this is a method that should be integrated then in with if you're looking for the quick transactions. This is not a transactional thing, but it's to be integrated into your daily sales activities for sure.
Yeah, it's not going to be a quick win, but it is like one of the focuses of this group that Chris and I have is that it isn't about the quick wins, but it is about the relationship marketing, so that when you need to pick up the phone in January and call people and see if they're ready to buy from you,
Right.
You have already had a conversation. You already know where they are. You know that they had their goals for 2024, and you can pick up the phone and call them in January and be like, did you hit those goals? No. All right, let's have a conversation about how I can help you make sure that you get them this year, kind of a thing. So it's I hate calling it leads, but like we're talking about people.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about humans.
We are filling our list with a bunch of conversations that you can go back to.
Right.
And that's where, honestly, Chris, that's where I said, like, this week I went deep into a lot of conversations with this, and I have two calls scheduled next week,
Right.
And so it doesn't have, a lot of times organic is labeled into like this long game of months and months. It depends. I had a connection. I already have a rapport with these people,
Hmm.
but I had never talked to them about what I do. I've never talked to them about doing business
Right.
together. But I just had a chat with them and said, hey, you know what? This is what I'm doing, and I love to find out if this is something that we can work together on. And so it doesn't have to be this really long, drawn out
No.
months and months and months, but it does fill that pipeline with a bunch of conversations. And again, if you do come from it, like, I love being curious. I don't know if you're the type of person that I want to do business with. I don't know if I can serve you, but I also like the idea that I've got a very eclectic network.
Yes.
So I really am asking, like,
Yeah.
where are you? What do you need? Because I might not be a fit for you, but I might have somebody that I can connect you to. And
Right.
that's where the more that you give and the more abundant mindset that you come
Right.
at sales with, the more that you will find that comes back to you.
Right. Be known in your network and in your circles as a giver,
Yeah.
and I think that's great. I mean, that's something that I've worked on my entire career
I
of
love, yeah,
being
I love
known
watching how you're
as,
just like, I just want to help people, and it
yeah,
does come. We don't want,
it
we
comes
all have
back.
bills to pay.
Of course.
We're
I
not,
mean, yeah, but 100%. I mean, listen, I'm in
but again, that's
business.
where you're qualifying, and you're like, hey, you know what? We're not ready to work together. I'd love to stay in touch, and then if there's anything else that pops up, like, hit me up. I might have somebody who can help, and it
Right.
just really builds
Exactly.
that connection.
Yeah, I always say, listen, before you put it out to the world, come to me first, because there's a good chance I have someone that I know who is really great at what they do that you should at least talk to. And I always tell people that, like, come to me first. And if I got somebody, I'm happy to make the introduction. If I don't, I'll tell you straight up, I don't have anybody in my network that does that particular thing. But at least reach out to me first, because there's a good chance I probably know someone who does something that you need really, really well.
Yeah,
Just want to
yeah.
call out Raph real quick, because Raph is saying, I'm old fashioned. I'm old fashioned. Figure out if it's not the right connection, and if it is, then propose a few times and still works for me. That's what he's saying about when he reaches out and tries to set up time. He goes, even
Yeah,
in
totally.
2024.
Love it. Yeah, that works. Like, what times are best for you? That works as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's saying
Yeah.
so important to put out some goodness into the world too. So
Yes. It really is. Again, like, I know that we need to, like, like you said, the BDRs, the SDRs, like, they have quotas to fill.
of course.
So go and do that. But also, you can take this method into those calls. And
Hmm.
so, you can, it's a qualifying kind of a thing. And that way then you're going through, and it's kind of like the door-to-door salesman, where you're like, hey, like, I'm not interested in buying. And I tell them, go find somebody else who is, sort
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah, I'm not interested. So let's just save each other's time and
Yeah.
go on and put that extra time now into somebody else. I'm
Yes.
gonna
Yeah.
give you time back. That is my gift to you.
Yep. Yeah. And so just coming back to, like, you've got this list of people. Maybe you've talked to them before, maybe you haven't. And maybe, it's been years. Again, it's one of those things where find the people that you can connect with in a way that, hey, it's been a while, and I truly do want to find out what you're up to. Um, we're here. We're here to do business. We're here. I'm taking, like, I'm talking the human species. We're here to do business and innovate and
Right.
doing it together. And so don't don't let conversations that need to happen continue to not happen simply because it's been too long. Because also, like, going into the emotional side, you never know, like, if you feel like you need to
Right.
reach out to somebody, like, do it, because you never know. Life is short. So
Yeah. No, you absolutely never know. And so the whole point of, once again, of this entire exercise of what we've been now talking about almost 2 weeks in the group is all about this. Because when you sit there and you say, guys, business is down, what, and this is what happens a lot with a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs. Not everybody, listen, some people are doing great and they're going gangbusters right now. We're moving into the fall, which, is usually a very busy time for most, not for everybody, but for most. But I mean, when you look at, like, when someone goes and says business is down, um, my phone's not ringing, no one's getting back to me, I don't know what to do. That's the point of this activity, because I will probably say, or I will ask you, have you reached out to anybody in your network? And they'll say, yes, I have. And I'll go, have you reached out to anybody in your network that you've even talked to in the last 3 months or more? Have you reached back out to the people that you started talking to in January, February, March, April? Like, have you reached out to the people you were talking to October, November last year?
Yeah.
And more than likely, the answer is no.
Yeah. You keep
Okay.
hitting
Yeah.
people, like, let's not keep hitting them
Yeah.
up.
And the answer is no. And so then I can go to you, well, you haven't done everything. And this activity that we're talking about, this challenge, is the way for you to get things going. Because, listen, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And you got to put in the activity. You got to put the action steps in to make something happen. It's a complete cause and effect. That is it. By you doing this action, will create a reaction here. There's a cause and effect to that. And that's the point of these exercises that we're talking about. And I get it, man. We get desperate. We get panic sometimes. Like the business isn't coming in, the lean month, all those types of things. And you're like, and you kind of revert and you start working from a place, fight or flight type of thing. And I'd say, relax, take a breath, take a really deep breath, let out all that negative energy. And let's now think in a way that's very constructive and very positive, right? Let's create activity that has purpose, has intention, that has a clear end point to it. And while it's not going to be a home run on every single person you talk to, that's not the point. The point is that you're doing things now, you're creating your own opportunity with the relationships you've already built and invested time into. And just because that person didn't do business with you now or didn't have anything for you back in October of last year, or let's even go back a year ago, like it's September, as of this recording, it's September 6th. Who are the people you talked to last September that kind of didn't go in? Like, have you checked back in with them recently? What's going on? Because there could be something right there that it's just literally an ask. It's an ask. And it's, how can I help you?
Yes, and that's where I want to take something that you said a little while ago and then tie that back into now too, where, if you are more introverted and sales scares the crap out of you.
Yes, which a lot of it scares a lot. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't come natural to most people.
Right. And that's where a lot of times I've tried to use the whole, like, well, we talk about movies, we talk about food and restaurant. And I'm like, but I'm not getting paid. For some reason, we feel like if we're getting paid, there's an ick factor to it.
Right.
But that's where shifting into the mindset you said, where it's like, who can I go serve? Mm-hmm. And again, being curious, and just like your conversation is quite literally, I am looking to see where you're struggling and if I can help. And if I can't help, is there somebody that can? And you even said that's where, like, you can refer somebody. That's also a great, very cool sales technique, where if you're referring people, now you have allies who are also then going to be looking out for you. I know that a lot of the business that I do, it's because I have sent people away because I really am not a good fit. And I've sent people to other friends or colleagues. And then now I have seen some of those rewards come back because they're like, hey, you know what? I have somebody that I'm not a fit for, but I think would work for you. Right. Or, hey, you know what? I think that you should talk to this person, or they're like thinking of me. So the more that you serve, the more that you give, be curious in those conversations. Like, you're not selling, you're serving. And I love that, Chris, you have been a good example for me of, hey, we're showing up and we're serving. And money is an energy exchange. Serving is an energy exchange. And the more that you show up and just remove that ick of, I'm trying to sell my company services, and it's just like, how are you struggling and can I help you?
Yep. That's it. I mean, that's really it at the end of the day. So when you say, what can I do for myself? How can I bring business in? How can I get things moving in my business? Well, this is exactly it. I'm telling you that what Lori and I are talking about, this is a proven method. It works time and time again. And I would say that if you are, as Lori says, and I agree, if you're feeling like sales is ick and I hate it, and this is the opposite. This is the complete opposite of doing that. However, at the end of the day, once again, you do good things will come back to you. And this is a way of doing that and creating opportunity for yourself without without doing the salesy type stuff, the salesy tactics. And if you're looking to just create that activity in your business because things are down and you go, man, I've tried everything, I will bet that you haven't tried this, or you've done a version of this, but not in the way that we're talking about it. It's, I would just say, slow down, calm down, get centered, take that deep breath, get rid of that negative energy, and let's now create positive energy by doing something like this. And it will work. Is it a quick thing? No, it's not a quick hit. If you are in a transactional business where you need a very quick hit, this is not it, but this should be incorporated, as we've now said a few times in this recording today, this video, is that this should be integrated into what you're doing. And as Lori said, and she painted out, that if you are in that quick transactional type of business where you need that, the tactics that we're talking about can also be incorporated into that. So it actually comes, it should increase the ratio of yeses as opposed to the no's.
Yeah. Or at least weed out the no's quicker,
Correct. Yeah.
So
Qualified.
On the call and going, that was not productive at all.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. So, all right. So with all that being said, before we wrap it up, because we don't want to overstay our welcome, we want to come on as we do, get you fired up. That's right. Going into the weekend, finishing your day strong, getting you ready for next week, because that's what this is about. That's what this show is about. Fired Up Fridays is to review the activity in the group, kind of reinforce what we've been talking about. So before we wrap it up, Lori, you have any last words that you'd like to say to everybody today? Yeah,
just gather as many people as you can, and don't be afraid to have those conversations. It's just a matter of just getting out there and doing it. And that very first conversation might be a little bit scary, but that's, again, our challenge is 20 conversations. If you haven't done them yet, you have one more week to put them in and come from a place of service.
Absolutely. Well said. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Lori nailed it. Absolutely nailed it there. Yeah. So listen, guys, we will put the template that we're talking about into the group. So if you want to join a group, once again, just DM Lori and I, or we will get you the link to the group if you want to join the group. The group is growing, and so we just want to continue to grow this community so we can show up and serve for all of you and share everything that we know, answer your questions, and you all help each other too, because that's also the point of having this great community over there at the Creative Marketing Corner. So, and obviously, if you need deeper help and you want to work with Lori or I, or both of us, whatever, we're happy to help you. So also reach out to us as well, because we would love to help you out with your marketing, your messaging, your branding, the whole shebang. Wherever you're stuck in your business, wherever you need help, Lori and I could certainly help you out. So,
absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can get some music playing. Oh, there we go. I got a little music. I'm going to switch it up here. Let's see what we got here.
Friday.
All right. We need an outro.
We do.
Yeah. I'll go with this. I'll go with this for now. But we'll have an outro by next week. I promise. I'll work on it.
We're building in public.
We're building it. Maybe we'll just replay the song again.
That can work too.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We will see you next week for another Fired Up Friday. We'll be here 10:35-ish. Right here live. All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks.
Bye.